Hello out there, sheep of God's pasture. Yes, I said sheep. This week just happens to be celebrating Good Shepherd Sunday, and we're talking about sheep and how God is our Good Shepherd, and Jesus is the greatest shepherd of all, who gave his life for his sheep, which are us. Now, there are a lot of great, fantastic sheep activities and sheep crafts that you can do. And in fact, we've demonstrated several different sheep crafts in the past. We'll link a couple of those videos down below. But today I have one more fun sheep craft to share with you, as well as a sheepy themed snack, which is a fun one because who doesn't love a snack with a Sunday school lesson? So first I'm going to show you the craft. And this craft is what I call a tube sheep or sheep on a stick. So what you're going to need is some kind of a tube, either a paper towel tube or you can use a couple of toilet paper tubes. And then since it's sheep, of course, you'll want some cotton balls or some cotton batting. You can use either one. Those are the basics. We'll go through the rest of it. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off with your tube. Now, if you have a larger one like a paper towel tube, you'll want to cut off a little section of it. This is going to be a long sheep, but it's all good. So you're going to cut off a little portion of it here, and that's going to be his head or her. Your sheep can be whatever you want it to be. And so we're going to cut off the portion that's going to be its head, and then we're going to start off by attaching the legs, which are going to be clothespins. You can also use popsicle sticks. Clothespins are just, they're a little bit better for a reason I'll show you in just a minute. So to make these clothespin legs, you're going to make a little snip in the bottom of your tube, just so the clothespin has something it can hold on to. And there we go. And you're going to poke the clothespin through that little hole. And you have your sheep legs, one pair of legs there. And then we'll poke another hole on the other side. And that will be the other legs. Again, it doesn't have to be a clothespin, but they do kind of work well for our purposes because then you can have it standing up like little sheepy legs. Then we're going to, all right, there's our sheep legs. They can kind of stand. Now we're going to add our head, but before we do, actually we're going to add our head. What I was going to say is you can do this in a couple of ways. You can do the legs and the head and put it all together first, or you can do the wool first. It's sort of up to you, and if you want to have to wait for the wool to dry or however you prefer to do it. So I'm demonstrating how to put the body together, and then we'll add on the wool. And so for our head, you're not the sheep, I'm sorry. Yeah, say bah. So for the head, we're going to attach. Now again, you could do this a couple ways. You could attach a clothespin like this, or you could attach it via a popsicle stick that you attach to both ends, or one more possibility here. I'm going to use a pipe cleaner for this one, and that will enable me to do two things. For one, it's a little bit lighter than the sticks are. For another thing, I'm going to also use my pipe cleaner, which the cat really wants, to make my ears for my little sheep. So one part of my pipe cleaner is going to connect to the body with some tape, and the other part is going to, like so, the other part will go through my head portion, and that will allow me to have my head held up. And again, the other benefit here is you can bend it and have it kind of angled. And then I've got a spot for my little sheepy ears. Seriously. So here's my ears, here's my head, here's my body of my sheep. Now, of course, it does not look anything like a sheep yet because we have to add the wool and get rid of the cat. So I'm going to do that with plenty of glue, and you can either use this cotton batting or you can use good old-fashioned cotton balls. Up to you, up to what you have. The cotton balls are kind of fun because it's a little bit more tactile as far as, you know, the kids can really get into gluing one fun little fluff ball at a time, and that can be kind of engaging. And you're just going to put those all over the sheep, and then if you really want to have fun with it, you can use huge cotton balls, and then you can talk about wool and shearing time, and you can have the kids give their sheep a little haircut. That's kind of fun. But Good Shepherd Sunday is not exactly the springtime wool and shearing of the sheep lesson that we're going for. Anyways, you're going to put your cotton balls all over there, and then, of course, what you also would want to have is you would not want to neglect a fluffy little tail. So here's where our either clothespin or popsicle stick or pipe cleaner, whatever you'd like to use, is going to come in handy because we're just going to slide this in here, and we're going to attach a couple more cotton balls around that for our nice fluffy sheepy tail. So here's his tail, here's his body, here's his tail, and then we're going to give him a face, of course. And you can add more cotton balls to the head as well. That's totally fine. Here's his little eyeballs. And if you wanted to color in on his legs, or on his feet, I mean, you could do that as well. And give him a little happy sheep smiley face up here. You can give him a nose if you want. And there is, here, let's give him a little bit of fluff on his head. That works too. There we have our delightful, fluffy, woolly sheep in honor of Good Shepherd Sunday. So there we go. It's and of course this is something you can, you'll want to let it dry, let all of let's put a couple more fluff balls on there, why not? Let all of that fluff and stuff dry off. You can make it into a puppet, you can have it just as a decoration, you can have a toy. It's, the reminder that we are Jesus' little lambs, and Jesus is the perfect pure lamb. Jesus is also the Good Shepherd, and the Good Shepherd takes care of us, and God is our Good Shepherd. So there is our fun craft of our little tube sheep on a stick. Next, we're going to do the really fun part. We're going to make a snack. And snacks are something that we don't do quite as often, but they can be kind of a hands-on craft as well. And it's really a fun experience because, number one, you don't have to worry about having a million random crafts rolling around because you eat it. And number two, kind of the same thing, you get to eat it. So it's fun. It can be messy, but it's fun. So, of course, always be aware of allergies and if you have permission to serve snacks if you're doing this in a group lesson. But this is going to be our sheep, and you're going to need marshmallows. I have the larger marshmallows. It's really fun if you have the smaller ones as well as the larger ones, but we're going to do it with all the big ones today. And what we're going to do is we're also going to use these pretzel rods. So really, the ideal thing is the pretzel sticks. If you have the long, skinny pretzel sticks, those really work best. Today we're going to use some twisties and some rods, but use what you have available. Or, you can do this with toothpicks as well. It's just not quite as fun because you can't eat toothpicks. So we're going to also, for an added touch, we're going to use some coconut, and we're going to color it to make grass. You don't have to do that part, but it's fun if you're just really going wild with the whole sheep theme. So we're going to color our coconut, we're going to place it in a Ziploc bag, and we're going to just drop a couple of drops of green food coloring in there. And again, this is going to up your mess factor in time, but it's fun if you have the time to do it. So we're going to shake up our coconut so that we can create the green grass. And that's going to be kind of just a little base for our plate. Now, we're going to dump this onto our plate. And here comes the next fun part. Here's our grass. Believe it or not, I don't like coconut. It's just a personal thing. It's like a texture. I have it around for baking, but I cannot stand it myself. Anyhow, here's our grass for our sheep. And now our sheep are going to stand in the grass. We're going to put that down there. And now we're going to put our sheep together. So since we're using all large marshmallows, what we're going to do is we're going to connect a couple of these. Now again, the long pieces might work better, but we're going to poke the little pieces through to connect these guys together. And then we're going to use another piece for our feet down here and just stab that into the marshmallow. And I also would recommend using, here, this is going to be his tail, I apologize, using fresh marshmallows because they're going to be extra squishy and help you get the pretzels in more easily. So here's my little sheep feet, and this is supposed to be his fluffy tail. We're just going to get rid of part of that there. There we go. And then you can also add his head. So, or her. I don't know why my sheep are male. They're not. So here's his head. Now, what else I can do if you have the resources and you want to really have fun, I'm going to give him a little face. Here's a smiley for my sheep. Hopefully that won't bleed all over like that. And I'm even going to give it a couple of eyeballs here. And then you could give it some ears if you have another couple of pretzels. Stick in some little ears here. Up on the top. Wow, now it looks like a reindeer or ram's horn or something. That's a little better. And, of course, get creative with this. You don't have to do it just like this. You can use other long stick-like snacks. You can use other things than marshmallows. You can use cookies. You can use Hostess snowballs. There are a lot of fun varieties to make your sheepy snack, but there you have one more fun way to celebrate and remember the story and to get a snack while you're at it. And of course, if you don't have the time, just throw some animal crackers on a plate and call it a day. It's good enough too. But there's a couple of fun things that you can do to go along with your Good Shepherd Sunday and your sheep stories or your Good Shepherd stories. Again, there's a plethora of things that you can do. These are just a couple more ideas to help you in your instruction and in your wonderful, fun, hands-on learning time you have with your students. So hope that you continue to enjoy these videos. We have new crafts and messages coming out every week, so feel free to like, subscribe, comment below, make some disciples, make some crafts. Hope we'll see you next time. Have a great week.